Let's call this meeting to order. It's Tuesday, January 23rd, 2018. This is a study session of the Prescott City Council. Clerk, please call roll.
Mayor Mangarelli,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Orr,
Here.
Councilman Blair,
Yes.
Councilman Good,
Here.
Councilman Lamerson,
Here.
Councilwoman Scholl,
Here.
Councilman Sischka.
Here.
All are present.
All right, thank you. I understand we have a presentation on the supervisory control and data acquisition system.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. You already took a little of the fun away from it.
I know, I just wanted to say that.
Okay. Yes, we are here jointly, Public Works, as well as our consultants from Brown and Caldwell. We have Mark and Derek be involved in the presentation. And yes, we are here for our SCADA project presentation on it, and then future consideration of a additional contract for construction of it. If I could just quickly wanted to introduce some of our key team members here as far as with the city. Eric Bay, Utilities Manager. Ben Burns is our Project Manager from Public Works with it. Brady is from Water Production. He's the guy who's got his fingers in the wires. And then especially Nate Keegan as far as IT, because IT is instrumental to this project for utilities as far as anything working, so they are a huge part of the project. With that, let Derek take it over, and then we will supplement as needed.
Mayor, Council, my name is Derek Schell from Brown and Caldwell. I'm a controls engineer to kind of talk through the stages of this project. So you pronounce it right, SCADA, right? Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition, this big fancy term for all this technology, right? And really the big part about it is there's a lot of different sensors, pumps, and level and pressures, all these types of things out there in the field. And really what this system does is it's the technology that brings together all that information and brings it back to a central spot so that operations and management staff can really see what's going on, see what's happening out there in that system. So the challenge is there's so many different pieces out there. You know, we've got 41 booster pump stations, 63 lift stations, a lot of water tanks, a lot of PRVs, a lot of different things for us to kind of continually manage, maintain, and operate, and we can't be everywhere. So this system really allows the team to effectively monitor, react to things that are going on, as well as collect data so that they can optimize and be more predictive, be more efficient with their overall operations. So the current system's got some challenges. One of the big challenges is it doesn't connect to everything right now. So we're missing some key pieces, some key information and details in each of those different facilities. Historically, it hasn't been reliable. So it's not a system that we can trust. It's not a system that they've really had the support to be able to support it long term. And the technology's aged. So the system was put in the mid-90s, and it's no longer supported by the technology vendor. So what that does is it increases the cost, right? The less reliable it is, the more times they have to go out there in the field, the less things that they can see. There's less that they can really do with that overall system. So part of this project, oh, go ahead.
And another piece in regards to the information we get from the existing system. So currently, we have 100 sites that we're planning to work on with this project. From those 100 sites, we get an alarm from a pump station over on Gurley Street. What we get from that alarm is we close our eyes and we look at that pump station. That's exactly what we get, a black screen. All we do is get an alarm. It doesn't tell us anything about what's truly happening, whether it's a pump failing, the tank is low, any problem that there can be, we get one alarm and somebody has to respond to go and figure out what's wrong.
So that's going to be the big impact, is we're going to be able to update over 100 facilities as part of this project. It's not just one facility. We're making a large impact across both water and sewer collections. We're definitely, the biggest part of this is increasing that reliability and increasing that support so that it is something that we can trust and support long term. Really adding to that information so that when they get that alarm, they can tell what's happening with that alarm, where that site is at, and how fast they need to react to it. And then one of the big parts of this, since we're impacting such a large amount of the facilities, is being able to standardize, try to make everything as standard as possible so that it's easily supported. It provides a good foundation for success in the future. So looking at the overall project path, the city went through some CIP planning back in 2015 and advertised this. Brown and Caldwell was selected, and we started into a pre-construction phase. And that's really what I want to talk through with you guys today, is that process that we went through to determine what's the best fit for the type of system that we need. So that's where we're at today. There'll be another council meeting, and then we'll move through towards construction. So during this pre-construction phase, we initially started off with 4 kind of major steps. We wanted to determine what we needed, standardize on what we wanted to implement throughout each of these different facilities, and then apply it towards each of the different sites through a system of databases and overall models. So the standards development became a large key to the overall implementation path that we were going to take. So we wanted to make sure that the hardware in the field, the way that we controlled each of the pumps, the look and feel, how it was programmed, all kind of fit down a similar path so that when an operator went up to one pump station versus another, it had the same style, it had the same structure, the same parts type of a thing. So that really laid down the foundation, and then we had to apply those standards to each of the sites. So every site has a different amount of pumps or a different amount of signals types of things. So we went out to each site and basically audited each site to determine how we're going to apply those standards to each particular site. And the way that we did this was we developed a mobile app. So we wanted to be as structured as possible, right? 100 sites and that amount of information can get overwhelming really, really fast. So we developed a mobile app, and this is kind of a screenshot of what it looks like. The little yellow dots are each one of the sites throughout the town. And as we honed in, we can start to collect more and more information on specific sites. And that allowed us to really control that data. And as we hone down even farther, we're connecting and really collecting data on how we're going to wire up each individual part, what the condition is, where things are mounted, all those different specific pieces of it. And what that came down to is now we have over 100,000 different data points. You know, when you take and you try to interface all of these different pieces, it created this large database, which allowed us a lot of different flexibility in interacting with that data. So the team sat down, we took all of that different data and started aggregating it towards a consistent kind of report format, basically saying this is what we have, this is how we're going to implement that standard for that specific site. And it basically aggregated all those different data points. We developed site plans, and this was really the visual methodology to allow us to locate things, right? So where that new panel was going to go, where that new sensor type of place, this is kind of the overview to give that visual interaction of where pieces would go. And then the big thing was cost. So every single little part that we looked at putting in has an associated cost, the labor, the materials, all those types of different things. And the big piece that came through this was really developing as a team, what's the right balance of cost versus value, right? You can install the latest and greatest technology, or you can install something really basic. So we looked at site criticality, the technology at the time, what's going to best support our long-term viability of the system, and really what's going to give us the best value versus the cost. So the team sat together and utilized that database to determine a balance. So right now we're still working through those costs. We're looking at approximately a 2-year construction schedule starting sometime in April and going through March 2020. The big thing is with 100 sites, we're looking at concurrently developing those sites. So we'll start on a couple sites at a time and basically stage them as they go to be able to make that in a 2-year construction schedule. So we'll show you guys a little piece of what that database looks like. So this is hitting the reporting structure, and you can see all these little dots in here. And each individual site has a lot of different points. So you can see this tank, right, Southwest Regional Tank. When we visited the site, where it's at, how are we going to mount certain panels, structures like that. The existing condition, basically the aggregation of all of this data so that we could apply those standards and really have an understanding of that implementation method and really what's it going to take to apply that standard at that site.
Zoom it in.
So as we mentioned, our existing system, when we get an alarm, that's all we get is an alarm. A couple of you recently, through our tours and that, have been able to see some of this. And then we can zoom out. So this is actually the screen that our operators see at our water operations building. This is one of the screens. So as we are adding, we have about 8 or 9 facilities that are currently in here. As we did water pump station improvements, then we have included this into all the new construction. So in the 100 sites, we're going to work on all the old facilities. So as we have added these in, we have these, let's go back just a blank page, kind of the raw pump station. Okay. So we've added each of these in as the projects have been done. So now, when we get an alarm, the operator has his tablet. He's able to go in and look at the alarm and see exactly what it is. The tank is low, the tank is high, the pump has failed, we have a power outage, anything like that. He can get that information on the tablet. Some of our sites we're also putting control into them. So right here from the tablet, if Brady needed to, if we needed additional water in the airport area, he can go in here on his tablet and turn the well on and get more water. If we have a fire situation, instead of someone having to respond and go to the facility. Okay? Now, okay.
This is pretty cool.
So this is all, new future. So each on the left side of the screen, that's well number 2 and well number 3 are green. That's telling us that they're both running. We have, okay, and kind of bottom left is telling us that there's 2,879 gallons a minute coming into the tank from those 2 pumps. On the right side, we have boosters 1, 3, and 4 running, and they are sending 4,404 gallons a minute into the city currently. And we have 25.1 feet of water in the tank. So this is the matter of having that information there so we can know what is happening. At the time when we get the alarms, we can look, we can find the exact problem. Currently, we get the alarm, someone answers the phone, and they have to leave. They have to go to the site, and then you walk in a site and you have to figure out what it is. So with that, if there's any questions, we'll be happy to answer those for you.
Councilman Good?
The premise for installing and utilizing this new system is based upon your estimate of an archaic system that's causing a lot of time and equipment costs, labor costs to use. So have you quantified that and found out what your cost recovery will be for installation and acquisition of the new system? When will you recover that cost by saving all this labor and equipment? And I guess after that, it'll be a return on investment.
We are working on that, and that will be part of the presentation when we bring the construction contract forward.
Thank you.
Other questions or comments?
Mayor, yes, I have a quick question. So I was out and Brady showed me this system about 1.5 years ago. So you guys are now pretty active in 9 sites, right, Craig? Is that what you're saying?
Right on 9?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're going to go to 100. So as within the next 2 years, we're going to keep putting these on, and will they be active as, not everything's going to go live in 100. We're going to
No.
go as we go.
Each site, as the construction is finished there, it will be added on. And it's construction and equipment at the site. Then it's the matter of the towers out around the city for the radio frequencies to get to there. That's where we're working with IT. So then it's the radios on those towers. Then it's a matter of getting to City Hall and getting into the network from the network, then it gets to water operations on our system. So it is this very large project. But yes, it will be one site at a time. It'll be finished, it'll be added on. Then
Great.
next week, continually added.
And pretty much 24/7, right? We were talking about that once. It's, who gets alerted when something happens in the,
Always have somebody on call, so there is 24/7
Right.
coverage.
yep. Okay, great. Congratulations, you guys have made some real progress.
They have the skate of football.
There you go. A little carry on with the red button.
Any other questions or comments? All right. Well, thank you, Craig, and everybody. Appreciate it. It's
Thank you.
cool technology.
Nice.
The study session's adjourned.